Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to a new MLB predictions video where today we're going to be predicting who can win the American League East. We're going to talk a little bit about every team, starting off with the Baltimore Orioles. I have their ceiling maybe at fourth place, but a lot of things would have to go right for them, and a lot of things would have to go wrong with other teams. So I do see them ending up in the fifth spot in the division, but they do have a little bit of a bright future. They have Adley Rutschman, who's going to be coming up soon. He is a top catching prospect, and they have Ryan Mountcastle, who can hit. So that's going to be fun to watch. And their infield, they also just got Maikel Franco, Freddie Galvis, and Yolmer Sanchez. So they have some decent MLB names on their major league level, and they also have a pretty decent hitting outfield. Their defense in the outfield isn't the best, but they got Austin Hayes, Trey Mancini, and a couple other guys who can hit out there. So it's going to be a fun team to watch for Orioles fans. You got a lot of young players coming up, but this year they're probably going to finish last in the division. Going on to the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox are a team sort of like the Philadelphia Phillies, a very good team, but are in a very tough division. I also forgot to mention that we're probably going to make these types of videos for every division, so the Central, the West, for both NL and AL. So going into the Red Sox have a very good team. They have longtime catcher Christian Vasquez, who's going to be a free agent soon, I believe. Behind the plate, so that he's very good defensively, but not the best offensively. You got Bobby Delbecq at first base. He can definitely hit. He's going to be someone to watch out for. They signed a lot of utility guys like Hernandez, Santana, and Gonzalez, so they can move people in at second base and other places. They got Alexander Bogarts at shortstop. He is a very good shortstop, and he is probably one of the best players on the team right now. And then they got Rafael Devers, who is on the screen right now. He's their third baseman. He can hit. He's decent with the glove, so he is a very good all-around player. So the Boston, and then their outfield. I forgot to talk about their outfield. They got Alex Verdugo, who they got in the Mookie Betts deal. They also have Hunter Renfroe, who they signed in free agency. He has a lot of pop, and then they can use utility options or Franchi Condero, who they got in the Benintendi trade. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. So they definitely have some options. They have some really talented players over there. And the rotation, they're going to get Eduardo Rodriguez back. He came back from a sort of an interesting injury, or it wasn't even an injury, it was more of a illness with his heart after getting sick. They're going to get Chris Sale back from injury, so that's going to be a big part for them. Nathan Eovaldi's looked like his old self. He's given up some runs in spring training, but he has good velocity and good movement on his pitches. And they're going to also use Tanner Hoyk, I believe that's his name. And then they have Nick Pivetta and some other options in the starting rotation. I believe they brought Perez back as well on a one-year deal. So Boston's going to be in a good spot, but since they're in such a good division, it's going to be hard for them to win. Going on to the Tampa Bay Rays, I see them finishing either third or first. If they finish third, that means probably a lot of things went wrong for them. If they finish first, that means things went right and stuff went wrong with the two other teams in front of them. The Rays are very good for a team with a very low payroll. They have G-Man Choi at first base. They have Yandy Diaz and Joey Wendell at third base. They have Willie Adames at shortstop. I do see him getting traded, though, because they have the number one prospect in baseball, Wander Franco, coming up soon. And they got Brandon Lau at second base, who can really hit. So very good infield already in catching. I believe they have Mike Zunino and some other backup options there. So they have a very good infield, and their outfield is even better. They have Randy Arozarena, who can obviously hit. He hit a lot in the postseason very well. They have Kevin Kiermaier in center field and Manny Margot in right field. So a speedy, very good defensive and very good offensive outfield. Tampa Bay, with a very low payroll, has a very good team, and their rotation, even though they lost Snell and Morton, they still have Tyler Glasnow. He's going to be the ace of the team. They also have Yanni Chirinos coming back, Ryan Yarbrough. They just got Rich Hill and Michael Wacha, and they got Chris Archer back, so hopefully he can figure things out. Rich Hill is going to finish his career there probably. He's 40 years old, and Michael Wacha is looking to figure it out as well in Tampa Bay. So very good team. I do see them finishing probably around second in the division. Going on to the Toronto Blue Jays, very interesting team, one of the best lineups in the whole MLB, but one of the worst rotations in the MLB. So behind the plate, they have Danny Jansen, who is he's a really good defensive catcher. I'm sorry, I was mumbling there for a bit. He's a very good defensive catcher. They got Alejandro Kirk, who is more of an offensive catcher, so it's going to be interesting to see if they use him more. They also have McGuire behind the as a backup option behind the plate, but he is out of options, so it's going to be interesting to see if he starts with the team. At first base, they have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He has lost a lot of weight. He can hit. His defense isn't the best, so he might DH a little bit. They also have Rowdy Tellez over there, left-handed bat, which there aren't a lot of in the Blue Jays rotation. Tellez can also hit. At second base, they got Marcus Semien, who finished third in MVP votes a couple years ago, so he can really hit. He's pretty decent with his glove as well. Bo Bichette, offensive shortstop, not really the best defensively. Maybe he gets better defensively over time, but he is supposed to be the next big thing. I think they want to make him the face of the franchise. And then at third base, they have former second baseman Kevin Biggio playing third base full time. He might play a little bit out in the outfield, and they can move some parts around. Over in the outfield, they have Lourdes Gurriel Jr. in left field. He can hit very well. Center field, they got their main acquisition of the offseason, George Springer. And in right field, they got Teoscar Hernandez. So Springer's very good defensively and offensively. Hernandez and Gurriel aren't the best defensively, but they can hit better than most people can. So Blue Jays are really offensively reliant, but the rotation, there's some things that they can work on. So you got Hyun-Jin Ryu as their ace. That's a good pitcher. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to go out there. He's going to give you all he's got. That's a good ace. Then they got Nate Pearson, who was currently injured, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can stay healthy this year. Then you have Robbie Ray, who's always been a little bit iffy command-wise, so if he can get his command under control, he can be a good starting pitcher who you can rely on. Then you got Steven Matz and Tanner Roark, who over the last couple of years have not been good. Steven Matz is good in spring training. Maybe he can figure things out again because he used to be pretty good in New York, but now the last couple of seasons he's fallen off a bit, so hopefully he can find his groove in the rotation. And Tanner Roark, he has not been very good the last couple of years. He's making $12 million this year, and he just hasn't really been very good for them. Interesting to see if he'll finish the year in the rotation. I don't think he will. Their bullpen, though, they got Kirby Yates, Tyler Chatwood, David Phelps, Romano, Anthony Kay, Ryan Barucki, Rafael Dolis. So they have some good arms in the bullpen to get them out of trouble if any starters get them into trouble. So all around a pretty good team for the Blue Jays. I see them making a move at the deadline, or I actually think that this year might not be their year to win. I think they spent the money that they want to spend this year on Springer and Semien, and next year they might go out into the starting market and get a pitcher. There's lots of good names out there next year, so maybe they'll do that. Going on to the number one team, I see them finishing either first or second. It would take a lot of things to go wrong for them to go to third place, but I do see them finishing somewhere around first or second. You got the New York Yankees. Some things that could go wrong. They are injury bound a lot with Judge Stanton. Gary Sanchez didn't really produce much last year. He is behind the dish. First base, you got Luke Voigt, who had an amazing year last year, but he did have some injuries, but he played through them, so very good for him. DJ LeMahieu at second base. He is one of the best hitters in baseball. I believe he won the batting crown last year, or the batting title. So he's a very good hitter, and he's pretty good defensively as well. Shortstop, you got Gleyber Torres, not the best defensively, and his offense struggled a bit last year. Hopefully he can find the groove this year because he's going to be a key piece for the team moving forward. He is only 24 years old, I believe. And then at third base, you got Gio Urshela. Pretty good defensively, pretty good offensively, all-around good player. Good infield for the Yankees. And then the outfield, you got Clint Frazier taking the starting role this year. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Aaron Hicks in center field and Aaron Judge in right field. Judge, one of the best power hitters, pretty good defensively as well. And you got Stanton at the DH spot. So a very good offense, just like the Blue Jays, except their pitching, the Yankees pitching, is a lot better than the Blue Jays. Their ace, they got Garrett Cole, shutdown guy. Then you got Tyon, who's coming over from Pittsburgh. He can probably do some very good things now that he's going to get some run support in New York. You got Kluber coming over from free agency. Hopefully he can figure himself out. He hasn't pitched a lot in the last 2 years due to injury, but when he is on top of his game, he is really good. Luis Severino is going to be coming back, but from a very serious injury, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can find his old self. Might take him a while. And then in the fifth spot, they got options between Montgomery, Herman, and Garcia. So the Yankees all around are good, and their bullpen is pretty good as well. You got Chapman, Green, Wilson, Britton. He got injured, but he'll be back eventually. So they have a very good team all around. I do see them winning this division. Again, it would probably take Stanton, Judge, and somebody else to be injured, and Gary Sanchez not producing well, but I do see the Yankees winning the division. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win the AL East. It's going to be a very competitive division. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more. See you guys in the next one.